What's up guys, my name's Tom and welcome back to the FPL Centre. In today's video I'm going to talk about what I think the best strategy is when it comes to using your wildcard and your limitless wildcard boosters in the Fantasy Champions League game. I'm also going to quickly run through how the price changes work. If you want to see more content on the Fantasy Champions League game in future, make sure to give this video a like and get yourself subscribed if you're not already. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So first up, we'll just have a look at the team from match day 2. We got 77 points in total, a pretty good score. I'm happy with that. Starting from the goalkeepers, we got a nice clean sheet there from Olsen, and in defence, both Bekau and Tellez picking up clean sheet points, as well as Tellez getting a goal for us as well there. Pizzi was the only player in midfield to record any kind of meaningful points there, picking up an assist for Benfica. And obviously then up front, Messi got on the score sheet nicely for us, and Neymar also got a hat-trick, making it back-to-back hat-tricks for our captaincy choices in this game. Obviously we had Messi in match day 1 getting a hat-trick against PSV, and then in match day 2 Neymar picked up a hat-trick of his own against Red Star Belgrade. So very, very nice scores from the front two there. 77 points in total, taking us up to a overall score of 137. A pretty strong position, not the best kind of position. Obviously there's still lots of ground to make up in the overall ranks. I think we're around the top 14,000 at the moment. So like I say, plenty of ground to make up, but a pretty strong position to be in moving forward, and we still have both of our boosters available. Now this leads quite nicely into my booster strategies that I wanted to talk about, so let's move on and go through those. Now I have not used either of my boosters yet, like I say, and that's because my plan is to use the normal wildcard before match day 3, so I will be activating that later this week, and then I will be using the limitless wildcard for match day 6. Now my reasoning for activating the normal wildcard now is that teams who face each other in match day 3 also face each other in match day 4. So if you identify players in great matchups, you'll get back-to-back games with good fixtures for the players you bring in. Remember, if I activated the limitless one here, my team would reset back to my old team for match day 4, but then I would only have 2 free transfers to set up a good team for that week. By using the normal wildcard, I can set up my team very nicely for the next 2 or even 3 weeks and target the best fixtures over that period, knowing that match day 6 I don't have to worry about too much because I still have my limitless wildcard for that week. The reason I'm making sure I still have my limitless wildcard for match day 6 is because at that point there will be quite a few teams who have already qualified for the knockout rounds, and we've seen in previous seasons that those teams are likely to rotate their starting lineups. I don't want to be caught in a position where half my team isn't even playing and I have only 2 free transfers to make changes. By saving my limitless chip for match day 6, I can guarantee myself a full squad of the very best players without any budget limitations to really push for the most points possible, while many other UCL Fantasy managers will be struggling to arrange a team with just their free transfers. I can focus on getting players who are definitely going to start, definitely going to pick up points, and avoid any issues at all. Of course, I fully recognise that by going with this strategy, I might miss out on the chance of cramming my team full of the most expensive players like Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, Salah, and so on, because some of those may have already qualified, and so I might not want to risk having them in my team. But the aim of the game is to maximise the number of points you score, not the number of expensive players in your team. So in my mind, it makes sense that I should also be playing my chips with a strategy in place to score the most points. And I think a good way of doing this and getting an advantage over a lot of other managers is to put a limitless booster in match day 6 to give myself the best chance of a high score in that week and hopefully a big boost to my overall ranking in the process. Now when it comes to player prices in Fantasy Champions League, they remain the same until match day 3, which is why we've seen no changes so far. And obviously match day 3 is coming up next week, so after next week, player prices will begin to change depending on player performance. The price changes are slightly different to FPL, since obviously in FPL, the number of transfers people make, either when buying or selling a player, that kind of thing can also affect the price changes, but in the Champions League game, it's only the player performance that affects the change. The initial price changes will be based on player performances through the first 3 match days, so if a player has performed very well in match days 1, 2 and 3, there's a pretty good chance he's going to rise in price. In FPL, players only change by 0.1 million at a time, with some players rising or falling multiple times in a single week. However, in Fantasy Champions League, you can see players rise or fall by 0.2 or even 0.3 million in one go, and it's a bit unpredictable trying to guess exactly how much of a rise or a change is going to happen there. So for example, last year a defender priced at 4.0, he jumped straight to 4.2 after picking up 2 clean sheets through the first 3 games. So there we go guys, if you liked the video and you want to see more Fantasy Champions League content, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and get yourself subscribed if you're not already. Also make sure to hit that notification bell. You can follow me on Twitter at FPL Center for regular updates on my fantasy teams in both FPL and Fantasy Champions League. Make sure you also follow FPL Matador. He's a veteran of the Fantasy Champions League game with regular finishes in the top 1000. He regularly tweets valuable information such as predicted team lineups and is more than willing to answer any questions you might have on the Fantasy Champions League game. And finally, if you want to read Fantasy Champions League content in the written word, make sure you check out at FPL Forum on Twitter, who is releasing a series of great articles for this season's Fantasy Champions League game. But that's all from me today guys, thanks for watching.